Hi, this is a video about TheThe's TheThe tabs and accordions plugin. You may have been using this plugin on your website to create either a tabbed block or an accordion on your pages. I've been using it recently for creating accordions. Although I'm not very keen on tabs in pages, so this video really is going to kind of focus on the accordion side of things, but you can use what I'm about to show you to create tabs if you wish as well, but that'll be an exercise for you. So as you can see, you create these accordions with these nice little sections, and it looks very neat and tidy, and it's all very nicely animated, all thanks to jQuery UI. This was working great until recently, but it seems that the latest version of jQuery has been made available on Google APIs, and that has actually broken this plugin out of the box. Worse still, it looks like TheThe have actually pulled their plugin out of the plugin directory on WordPress, so you can't even install it anymore. Well, that's bad news for all of us, really. Theoretically, you can download it off their website, but you do have to register, so not ideal. So I've basically been looking today at alternatives that work without an ugly hack. I did make an ugly hack available that would roll it back to the previous version of jQuery, and I made that available on the plugin forum, but as you can see, the plugin's gone. So so we want this to work out of the box without any ugly hacks. Is there another plugin that can do it? The answer is no, not one plugin that can do it. But with 3 plugins and a little bit of CSS, we can do this. So I'm going to dive straight in and start showing you how we can create a very similar accordion using just 3 plugins. So the plugins you're going to want are, this is my test lab, by the way. The plugins you want are accordion shortcode, go ahead and install that and activate. The second plugin you want is Best Custom CSS. Now, we only want this plugin because we need to be able to create some custom CSS in order to style the new widgets on the page out of the box. They won't necessarily look great, so we need to be able to style them. If you already have a plugin to do CSS, by all means use that. I find Best Custom CSS works nicely, so that's the one I tend to use. Alternatively, you can edit your theme directly and edit the CSS in there. If that's what you'd rather do, feel free to go ahead and do that. It really is horses for courses. I'm going to go ahead and use this because I don't want to change my existing theme in any way. So I'm going to install Best Custom CSS and activate that. And then the last one you want is jQuery UI Widgets. And once you've got your 3 plugins installed, the next step is to configure jQuery UI Widgets. And to do that, we go to Settings, jQuery UI Widgets. As you can see, by default, it ticks everything. Now, in actual fact, the only thing we're really going to use this for is pulling in the jQuery UI theme. So you can actually untick everything here, unless, of course, you've already had this installed and are using it for something else, in which case feel free to leave the relevant things ticked. But for our purposes, if you've just installed this purely to do the accordion, you will not need to tick any of these things. And once you've got them all unticked, you can go here and select the relevant UI theme. Now, out of the box, that is what TheThe tabs looks like, and that's actually pretty good, considering that's just straight out of the box. You don't need to do any styling or anything. We want to emulate that look, and to do so we just need to use the smoothness jQuery UI theme. If you drop this back down, smoothness. Save changes. Good. Now the next step is to go and actually create the page. If you've already got the page, you may need to make a few tweaks to it, as I'm about to demonstrate. So we'll create a new page. Now, I've already shown you this FAQ page on my customer's website. I'm going to actually go ahead and copy their code and put it into my lab. So I've now got their code in my lab, and I can actually play around with it. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, publish it, and let's view it. Let's see how far we've got. View page. Right, looking a bit broken to begin with, but we can fix this. Basically, Accordion shortcode is a little more finicky with its layout than TheThe tabs is. So what we need to do is just remove some of these additional spaces. Easiest way to do it, I find, is go to the text tab, and you can actually see all of the additional code in here that you don't want. We don't want that span, that's no use to us. Basically just take out any cruft that shouldn't be there. The main problem seems to be the gaps between accordions, and that's, I believe, what created all those additional empty titled areas on the accordion. So I'm just going to take those out, and let's see how far that gets us. Let's try that. That's a bit better. So now we've got rid of those empty ones, and it works. It looks ugly, but it works. So the next step really is to make this look a bit better. So if we go back to the back end, and we're going to go and change the CSS to fix this. So we go to the custom CSS. You'll want to load custom CSS. I've already installed this before and remembered my settings, so custom is ticked. You'll need to make sure custom is ticked. Click update settings to save that, and then to edit the actual CSS, cite custom CSS editor, custom.css. Click that, and here we have our actual custom CSS that we can then add some code to. So the first thing we're going to do, if you look at the actual page, is we're going to try and take out these big gaps between each of these titles. Now, what you see here may be different. I'm using the 2012 theme that comes with WordPress, and so it has put these extra gaps between these titles. You may see something different. If you do, you're going to need some different CSS. So a little bit of CSS wizardry is necessary here probably. However, you might find the code I provide you deals with everything. So we'll start by taking this gap out. So to do so, we want to target the .ui accordion h3 .ui accordion header, and we're going to make the margin 1 pixel 0. So that's 1 pixel above, 0 on the right, 1 pixel below, 0 on the left. And we'll update the file. Go back to the page and refresh. That's looking a bit better already. It's starting to look a lot more like the fly tabs and accordions. So the next thing is these titles are enormous, much bigger than these ones. So let's reduce that height slightly. And it turns out the reason we've got that is because there's some extraneous padding that we don't want. So we'll take the padding down. Now note that I'm doing 0, 0, 0, 2.2 ems. Now that's because we want none at the top, none on the right, none on the bottom, but we want 2.2 on the left. We want 2.2 because otherwise that text goes over this arrow, and we don't want that. So update your file, and refresh. There we go. That's looking a hell of a lot better. The only thing I don't like is this little line here, and we don't get that here. So we'll take that out, and that's very simple to do. We need a new rule, .ui accordion, h3.ui accordion header active. And we want to do border dash bottom 0 to remove that border. Update the file and refresh. And there we go. And that looks pretty much the same as the tabs and accordions does straight out of the box. I'm going to put a link to the CSS into the description of the video below. So those of you watching this on YouTube, follow that link. It'll take you to my blog. You'll see the code. You'll be able to copy and paste that. Hopefully the code I provide will actually do most of what you want already. If not, you will need to use a little bit of CSS wizardry to work out exactly what you need to change in order to make this look the way you want it to look. And feel free to experiment, guys. I mean, you've got jQuery UI Widgets installed. You can actually now change to a different UI theme, save the change, refresh the page. You've got a completely different looking accordion. So you can actually try now and integrate this a little more closely with your existing theme just by changing the UI theme. So I hope that's been useful to you guys. If you've got any questions, do go to my blog and leave a comment there. That's probably the best way to get in touch with me about this. Otherwise, do leave a comment in the section below. And yeah, I mean, if you create anything useful with this, let's see it. That's all. Thank you.